When your cat suddenly stops sleeping next to you, do you actually know what pushed them away? Yes, cats are independent. Yes, they come and go. But behind that slow, silent withdrawal, there's something most owners completely miss. And it's not attitude, it's pain. And if you keep doing the things you're about to hear, which almost every owner does without realizing, you could be destroying the trust your cat has spent months quietly building with you. Let's start with the one that surprises everyone. Have you ever lit a candle on a cold evening, settled into the couch, and noticed your cat just quietly leave the room? You probably didn't think twice about it. Maybe she went to get water, maybe she was just being a cat. Most people think their cat is simply wandering off. But what if your cat isn't choosing to leave? What if she's escaping? A cat's nose contains over 200 million scent receptors. Yours has roughly 5 million. That lavender candle you barely notice, to your cat, it's like being locked inside a perfume factory with no exit. Their olfactory system is so sensitive that even a mild fragrance can overwhelm their entire nervous system, triggering stress hormones and forcing them into avoidance mode. But it gets worse. Essential oils like tea tree, eucalyptus, and peppermint aren't just unpleasant, they're toxic. Cats lack a critical liver enzyme called glucuronol transferase, which means their bodies physically cannot break down certain compounds found in these oils. Even passive diffusion in the same room can cause respiratory distress, drooling, and in severe cases, liver damage. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery found that prolonged exposure to aerosolized essential oils was linked to elevated liver enzymes and respiratory inflammation in domestic cats, even at concentrations considered safe for humans. Your cat didn't leave because she stopped liking you. She left because the air hurt. That's not drama, that's survival. So switch to cat-safe alternatives, keep the room ventilated, and never use oil diffusers in a space your cat can't walk away from. And if that already changes how you see your cat's behavior, wait until we get to the last point in this video, because the way cats go silent when something is wrong is one of the most misunderstood and heartbreaking things about them. And it might be the most important thing you hear today. Do you have more than one cat? Then here's a question that might sting. Have you ever stopped to wonder whether one of them is silently miserable? Most people assume cats will just figure it out. You bring a new cat home, set out the same food bowls, maybe one litter box, and expect everyone to adjust. But that's not how cats work at all. Cats are solitary survivors by nature. They don't form packs. They don't share by instinct. In the wild, a cat would never voluntarily eat next to another cat unless resources were abundant and there was zero competition. When you force two cats into the same food, water, and litter space, what you're really creating is a low-level territorial war that never ends. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that resource competition is one of the leading causes of chronic stress in multi-cat households. And the scary part? It doesn't always look like fighting. Sometimes it's one cat quietly refusing to eat. Sometimes it's one of them avoiding the litter box entirely or hiding under the bed for hours while the other patrols the house. They're not being lazy, they're not antisocial, they've just accepted that the territory isn't theirs anymore, and they stopped fighting for it. The fix isn't complicated. One litter box per cat plus one extra, separate feeding stations, multiple elevated resting spots. Vertical space matters just as much as floor space because in a cat's mind, height equals safety. You don't need a bigger house. You just need to stop forcing them to compete for everything. Your cat rolls over and shows you their belly. Be honest, you go straight in for the rub, right? And then 2 seconds later, they grab your hand, bite it, kick it with their back legs, and you're sitting there wondering what just happened. Most owners think a belly display is an invitation, but it's not a request, it's a declaration. Your cat is telling you, I feel safe enough around you right now to show you the most vulnerable part of my body. That's it. It's trust, not a ticket to touch. Think about what that actually means. Their belly holds every vital organ. In the wild, exposing it means certain death. So when your cat does it at home, it's one of the highest compliments they can give you. But the moment you reach in and touch it, you just violated the very thing they were trying to express. A 2013 study from the University of Lincoln found that cats who were frequently touched in preferred areas like the cheeks and the base of the ears showed significantly more positive responses and fewer signs of agitation than cats petted on the belly or tail. So next time your cat rolls over, try this. Just be there. Talk softly. Give them a slow blink. Let them own that moment of vulnerability without turning it into something physical. That's not doing nothing. That's respecting the biggest compliment they know how to give. Ever locked eyes with your cat and held the stare, thinking you were sharing some deep emotional moment? Here's something that might surprise you. That moment might have been making them deeply uncomfortable. In the human world, eye contact means connection, but in the cat world, a direct, unbroken stare is one of the most aggressive signals a cat can receive. Among cats, Prolonged eye contact is a challenge. It's what they do right before a confrontation. So when you sit there gazing into your cat's eyes, thinking you're bonding, your cat is sitting there thinking something is very wrong. And here's what most people don't realize. You've probably seen your cat do the slow blink, that half-closed, sleepy-looking thing they do when they're relaxed. That's not random. A 2020 study from the University of Sussex found that cats were significantly more likely to approach a person who slow blinked at them compared to someone with a neutral expression. The researchers described it as a form of positive emotional communication between cats and humans. That's not just a reflex, that's your cat saying, "I trust you." The slow blink is the real eye contact. The long stare is the threat, so stop trying to hold your cat's gaze. Instead, look at them softly, close your eyes for a second, then open them. Do it calmly, do it without expectation, and watch what happens. Most of the time, they'll blink right back. That tiny exchange says more than 100 stares ever could. Have you ever rearranged your furniture and noticed your cat acting completely off for the next few days? Most people chalk it up to cats being dramatic, but what's actually happening is much deeper than that. Cats don't experience their home the way you do. You see rooms and furniture. They see a carefully mapped territory where every object, every corner, every scent marker serves a purpose. When you move their bed, relocate their litter box, or shift the couch they sit on, you're not just redecorating, you're erasing their map. And a cat without a map feels like a cat without a home. Cats rely heavily on spatial memory. They build mental blueprints of their environment and use scent marking to reinforce them. That's why your cat rubs their face on the edge of your couch or the corner of a wall. They're not being cute. They're placing invisible markers that say, "This is mine, this is safe." When you wipe those away or move the object entirely, that sense of safety disappears with it. And it shows up in ways most people miss. A cat who suddenly hides more. A cat who stops eating for a day. A cat who starts peeing outside the litter box. Those aren't random behavioral glitches. They're stress responses to an environment that no longer makes sense to them. So if you need to make changes, do it gradually. Move one thing at a time. Let them re-explore and re-scent the space. And never relocate their food, water, and litter box all at once. Small shifts feel like adjustments. Big ones feel like a threat. Remember earlier when I said we'd come back to the way cats go quiet when something is wrong? This is that moment. And it might be the most important part of this entire video. Here's something most people don't know. Adult cats don't meow at each other. They just don't. Meowing is a language they developed specifically to communicate with humans. Your cat literally invented a way to talk to you. Think about what that actually means. Every meow at the door, every chirp when you walk into the kitchen, every little trill when they follow you down the hallway. Those aren't random noises. Those are your cat choosing over and over again to try to reach you. And when you scroll past them, talk over them, or just don't respond at all, something shifts. They don't get louder, they don't try harder, they just stop. A 2013 study from Sophia University in Tokyo found that cats can recognize their owner's voice and distinguish it from a stranger's. They're not just hearing sounds, they know it's you, they're listening. The question is whether you're listening back. An animal that's hardwired to survive alone, to never depend on anyone, to never waste energy on communication that doesn't serve a survival purpose, chose to build a language just for you, and every time they use it and get nothing back, a small piece of that choice fades. So talk back. When they meow, respond. When they follow you, acknowledge them. You don't need to understand every sound, you just need to show up, because a cat who keeps talking to you is a cat who still believes you're listening, and that belief is not something you want to lose. Every time you blew out a candle, looked your cat in the eye, reached for their belly, or rearranged the room without a second thought, your cat was making a quiet decision. Not to fight, not to scream, just to pull away a little more. But every time they still walk up to you and meow after everything, they're telling you the same thing. You're still worth trying for.